Joey, thank you so much for coming in, man.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Joined by Joey Angelo. Now, you're absolutely crushing it in wine and spirit industry.
Thank
You've
you.
launched 3 incredible tequila products. And my favorite, the canned margarita.
Yeah, you love it.
SipMARGS.
You love it.
Hell
Yep.
yeah. So yeah, thank you again for coming in. And man, if you just want to give some bit of background about yourself and
Yeah, for sure. So almost 20 years in the wine spirits business, 15 of which was on the distribution side. I launched in 2017 my first tequila product, which I exited in 2020. That led to your favorite canned cocktail, SipMARGS. The ideas and everything started rolling in around that same time. The official launch was Cinco de Mayo of 21. We're still going super duper strong. And this baby right here, Casa, launched in, again, Cinco de Mayo, odd. Not on purpose, I swear, not on purpose.
Yeah, no one will ever believe.
I know, it's crazy, but they both fell on Cinco de Mayo. Yeah. Insane, of 2023, and the product's absolutely on fire. You know, #1 seller, Carbone, Tao, Lavo, Beauty and Essex, Catch Steak, Bowery Hotel, Dante. It's
man, I'll dive into this now because now that you're mentioning all those brands, like, did you make a lot of these relationships before you had a product to?
Some yes, some no. A lot of people ask that. So yeah, I mean, certainly the relationships are tricky because it definitely helps 100%, but you don't want to be dependent on it.
Yeah.
But I would say like maybe 30% of what we're doing right now are existing relationships I had.
Now, walk us through what inspired you to create your first tequila brand.
So it's funny. So, you know, working...
Because this is third one that you're on now.
Yeah.
First one's exited.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration for the first one?
I had always wanted to do my own and working with like so many big brands for so many years. Like, you know, we launched Patron and Herradura and I worked with Don Julio and like all the Casa Mezcal, all those brands. And I've always been a tequila guy. I'd always want to do it.
Right,
I never had the balls, if you will, to kind of rip that Band-Aid off. And, you know, the opportunity presented itself. It was right. It was the scariest thing I've ever done in my life, hands down. Because I was crushing it.
Yeah.
You know, like 15 years. I started basically mailroom and then I was top dog. And then at that point, like people are like, now you leave, you psycho? Like you should have left 12 years ago, buddy. And, you know, of course I didn't. And yeah, it was really scary to kind of leave all that and you know, to jump to like, you know, do your own thing. The crazy part is, you know, I've seen so many independent brands fail on somebody else's dime over the 15, you know, so it's a scary thing. Most brands do. And then to give it all up and do it myself.
I mean, did you feel like you had the confidence though? Like seeing those ones fail, seeing the ones like
I did, you know, a little behind the scenes because I kind of saw what works, what doesn't, you know, and I kind of like made up my own go-to-market strategy, like what I would do if I was in that position, or, you know, then seeing a lot of, you know, monkey see, monkey do repetition over the years. Like you see like the same companies like putting forth the same marketing plan, like just, you see a lot of recycled shit out there, you know, and I just kind of knew I would definitely go left when everyone's kind of going right to a degree. So, you know, I know we spoke a little bit, like I kind of picked and chose like what I like and put it all together. You know, I made my own playlist.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And did you see that gap in the market? Like a few like little, you know, no one's
a lot
really
of
hitting
nuances,
this right. Yeah.
You know, price point, quality, strategy, and just, you know, even just like, you know, how you treat people. I didn't love like, you know, not all, but like some of the, you know, big companies, I don't feel they do the best job in the trade.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, we really like kind of double down on our relationships and make sure we treat everybody. I mean, it's just the right way to do it. And like, obviously, I mean, you get these giant companies that you lose some of that, but we really make it a priority not to.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, that's the secret sauce, man. It's this. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you could buy another brand tomorrow. You know what I mean? We know that $5 less, $5 more, whatever. But it's your connection to the people, the product, 100%. The package, the name. You know, so it's not like the days of doing one thing right, I think, are just long gone, and you have to do like a million things right, and that's a big part of it.
And where do you think you learned that? Was it just DNA?
I think DNA.
Yeah.
Italian parents.
Yeah. And you felt this in like...
You get hit with a wooden spoon enough and you learn. Yeah. You treat people right, Joseph.
And how do you, like, coming up with SipMARGS, like, how did you, branding-wise, how did you market it, design it in a way that you felt was going to be successful?
So a couple things. So I really wanted to be like the iPhone, essentially, you know, just really clean. Yeah. Everybody has one. Simple, like what it was more about, and it just kind of going back to other companies, it was more about what I didn't want, right? Yeah. So you see a lot of these canned beverages and they're so loud and so obnoxious, the packaging. Yeah. and screams summer. But I mean, it's a long year, especially on the East Coast. You know what I mean? So, you got like watermelons and the sun and, umbrellas.
Starburst cans.
Yeah, man. It's like, you want that right now? I mean, no.
Yep.
Right? So, really want to kind of keep it clean. And then even like the addition to the spicy and then the mezcal. You got 4 seasons, man. It's not just all July and August. So it's a long year. So we really want to make the branding simple and clean, and let the product speak for itself.
And Sukasa, I haven't tried it yet, but talk us through like
Go for it, baby.
Again, branding wise, like what
cool, right?
What I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. What led you to the design and everything?
Again, I think it was what I didn't like. A lot of those bottles, like you just see a sea of the same. So the first thing I think about is like, well, how do I jump off that shelf, right? So I think, the fact that it's not a stock bottle, all of them are stock bottles. There's nothing preventing you from doing your own vodka in any of those bottles tomorrow.
Yes,
it's just a random stock. This is custom. You'll never see it again. Also thinking of the bartender, you get the ridges in it. They love the texture. Even at a store level, I mean, and there's studies about that. You pick up a bottle, you touch it, most likely you don't put it down. You're gonna buy it. Especially something like I see people, they grab this and they're just going like, they don't even know what they're doing. It's like, and it has that, but it's the same thing when you go like a Mexican restaurant, you get that water glass with all the bumps on it. That was the idea. I literally went to a Mexican restaurant, saw a glass, put it in my bag, and sent it to my designer. I'm like, this is what I want. And then it kind of morphed into this, and then we started building it out.
Yeah, it's not opaque, like it's all transparent, so
totally
you can actually see what's inside.
You actually see what's inside. I like those kind of bottles too, like Casa Azul and stuff. But the negative is you don't know where you're at, like with the juice though. And I know like a lot of people from the trade don't like that. Like you just don't know where you are inventory wise. And so you have to think of that stuff too.
Okay. And probably why people are hustling around bartenders, they know what they're grabbing, like they can already feel it. Like they're confident in what they're doing and what they're using. All we've talked about is how amazing and successful and incredible it is.
Yeah.
But tell us.
No bad days.
No bad days. Tell us about one of them. If it had to be a bad day, what was it?
I mean, every day, but it's like what
was one of the biggest challenges you think?
Well, I'll tell you a funny story. The day we launched Margs, we had a lot of like these press parties. It was Cinco de Mayo. It's our first day. We had a press party in New Jersey. We had one in New York. We had one in Florida. Like all these like parties with press and all that kind of stuff. The truck that was coming from Pennsylvania where we do the filling, at least at that time, we do it upstate now. You ever see like when the trucks are going down like a highway and like they missed the divider, the thing, it ripped the whole time, 18-wheeler. I mean, there was like pallets and pallets coming to New York, New Jersey and stuff for these events. I mean, it's literally day one, the whole time. We had pictures of it all over the highway. I mean, just every problem. Oh my God, the whole top of the truck ripped off. It was like
day one
that was game day, man. Yeah.
And so what did you do? How'd you navigate?
Man, we had enough like sample product and stuff like that we scrounged together and just kind of made it work. Like, I mean, just smoke and mirrors, really.
That's got to be one of those things you're like, no, you're fucking joking.
100%. And if I didn't get the pictures, I wouldn't even believe it. I'm like, you're kidding me. Like, there's no chance. Like, that's not real.
Wow.
And, just things like that. But it's like, you gotta just kind of roll with the punches. But, like, you could guarantee pretty much every day, like, something crazy happens. Maybe not that extreme, but you just got to take it with a grain of salt and problem solve, man.
Tell me, how do you kind of, like, apply that kind of mentality? You've gone through that. How do you stay cool, calm, collected?
You just kind of got to do it because, like, the way I look at it, like, nothing good could happen if I get hot. And don't get me wrong, like, I do, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm Italian. But that's not going to help anything, you know what I mean? So you really just got to sit on your hands and try to figure it out. But oddly enough, that's what I like most about it. And I never thought I would, but I like the problem solving. Like, I like having to figure it out. Like, if everything was all perfect and cookie cutter and handed to me, I don't know if I'd be that into it.
So you love the operation side of it too, as well. So
I love the beatings.
Yeah.
Nice. I like a good black eye every now and again.
And tell us, so you went through the capital process, raising capital successfully.
Yeah, twice.
Twice. So talk to us through the process.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a crazy thing because it's, I was relatively new to fundraising and kind of taught myself how to do it. But at the end of the day, you're just kind of giving a presentation, you know what I mean? So it's, whether or not you bite or not, it's
an expensive
different.
Pitch deck.
Yeah, for sure. And it's crazy. And actually with both products, like we were raising money and I didn't have finished product yet too. That's the thing. So I'm like, basically like, trying to, you to buy something and I don't have anything to show you, and you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars and all that kind of millions. But it's really, I think people at the end of the day are buying you, you know what I mean? And your vision and your passion. And that's kind of like secondary. Not that it's not important. I mean, that's the product at the end of the day, but I think they're betting on the right horse, the founder.
100%.
And I think that will come through whether I have something to show you or not.
Yeah. Did you have many pitch like
It was the craziest thing. I mean, I want to say maybe 20 meetings total for both brands.
Yeah.
And I think like 19 people wrote checks. Wow. I think there's maybe one person that didn't, which is crazy because most of the people I did not know. So you're sitting down with a stranger and letting it rip. And it's like, and I've never done it before too. And I think it was beginner's luck. I think if I had too much of a strategy and game plan, like, I don't know, but I really believe that people are betting on the founder and they smell the passion.
100%.
Yeah. And these are seasoned people too. These are real investors.
They're not
they can look through your soul.
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah.
They know who to bet on and who not to.
Yeah.
And, you're taking a gamble at the end of the day, but, an educated gamble, if you will.
Yeah. So looking back, like, what do you think, what aspects of you as a person and the energy you brought, what do you think that hit home for them?
I think at the end of the day, like, you want a workhorse, right? Yeah. So I think you could tell by meeting someone if they're a worker or not.
Or they just have an idea.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. And like, what their, their work ethic is and stuff like that. And, thankfully, it kind of goes back to treating people right? We spoke about, I've been treating people right my entire life, but it was certainly my entire professional career. And you could go check that 3 times, and I'm sure they did. Yeah. And you're going to get the same narrative all the time. You know what I mean? It's like, there's a right way to do things, and I have a great record, knock on wood. So, it's just by doing the right thing. But Italian parents, I don't have a choice.
Are there things that you've figured out? I mean, obviously you're still building successful brands, but are there things North Stars that you look at that make a successful CPG brand that you've seen time and time again? Product?
Oh God, I think simplicity. Right. I think people go super wide. Day one, and then looking under the hood a little bit, and I've made those mistakes too, but, overspending in the wrong areas.
Like
SKU-wise, marketing, promotion, social media. I have really strong opinions on that. Again, they're just mine. I want to be clear, but, PR, for example, like, that's a megaphone, right? And a lot of people day one start with these huge PR firms and 10, 15K retainer and all that kind of stuff. And for a small company, that's a fortune, right? And I'm not anti-PR, but day one, what do you really have to say? Right? Because they're just a megaphone, right? So if I have nothing to say, then you have nothing to say, right? And, I really want to get to a point where I could brag a little bit, like now, like all those places I told you, you know what I mean? So now I can tell you a real story, you know what I mean? 7 months ago, I couldn't tell you. I could tell you what I hope for, but who cares? I hope for a Ferrari. Do you care? You know what I mean? So there's really, there's something to that. And the same thing with like, social media and stuff like that. And I remember having this conversation with one of my larger investors with Sukasa, big marketing background. He's like, what's the marketing plan? And I'm like, well, the marketing plan, like I told you, like it's secondary, and I, kind of told him why, but like, well, like, what's it going to be? I'm like, well, let me ask you a question. What's the most powerful thing that you could do for free that somebody actually pays you to do it? He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, the cocktail menu. I'm like, how many tens of thousands of people are going through these venues every single week, seeing your name up in lights? And they're actually paying you to buy the product, and the return is instant. I mean, there's only one, you know what I mean? It's like, and that would drive the needle more than anything. I could put a billboard up on Sunset Boulevard, but if I don't have any distribution, how good is that? So at the end, at the end of the day, like, what's the point? Like, where could I get it? Where could I find it? If the answer is nowhere, then you're just wasting your time and money.
Staying on CPG, because there's so many, especially people that watch this, people in like my community on LinkedIn as well. So many CPG brands that are struggling, that have even closed down recently. I know a couple. How are there's like 3 bits of tangible advice that you could give to
I think be really careful with the spending. It's so easy to say yes. Like if I had $1, like I must get 100 phone calls a day. We're doing this event, that event, 10 grand, 5 grand. And it's so easy to say yes. And a lot of them are friends. You want to say yes, but it's just got to make sense. You got to stick to the plan. A lot of these companies don't have a plan. Like they just kind of sell, but like without a detail, like our shit is so tight. Like, I mean, I'm telling you, I know what the next 3 months of my life look like every second. Like it's the most disciplined I've ever been. And like, I've been in that sales game where you just want to, I mean, the inner me wants to just sell it to anybody, but I won't, I really, you got to stick to that plan and you got to be careful with the spending, And it sounds like a real kind of dinosaur thing to say, but at the end of the day, the only thing that matters are sales. All that other stuff is great. It's fun. If you don't have sales, it's over. It's a wrap.
And people get lost in their own sauce as well of like, just trying to put it out everywhere.
Yeah.
Whether they're giving it out. It's
I
like,
know.
And they will. They will. Give
It's
buckets.
And like, pop-ups and events and like, it's just, it's cool. It's fun, but it's at the end of the day, like what is the ROI really? You know what I mean? Like, and it's just got to make sense. And also like even knowing, I know what my product costs, my cost before I even sell it to the distributor. You got to have like a percentage in your head what you're willing to give back to the trade, in terms of, marketing, promotion and all that. Like a lot of people, they don't even have the math set up. Like, I mean, it's just crazy. It's like, flying an airplane with a blindfold on. Yeah. So it's like, I think just really, being laser focused on the financial piece.
Love that. Is there anything else that comes to mind? So we've got simplicity and obviously maintaining a solid financial plan and sticking to it, not getting sort of blindsided by like
I think
hype.
it kind of goes into the third, which is like sticking to the plan. A lot of big companies, small companies, medium companies, like if something kind of goes not according to plan, they abort the plan and then it's a new plan. You gotta see it through. You know what I mean? Because it could be 6, 8, 7 months, and it's tough and it's distracting. But if you make a plan, you have to stick to it. Like I see, like so many companies go left when it's just not going. Like you didn't give it enough time. And you have to go through the hardships and.
Is it a patience thing?
Oh yeah, for sure. Which I don't have any, and I'm teaching myself. Like it's a struggle for me. So if I could do it, anybody could do it.
You mentioned on our call how both of the brands fuel each other. How does that work?
In terms of, because at the end of the day, minus like fine dining, it's the same consumer. A lot of people ask that question, like, how do you manage like two brands? But you always got to look, what's the end goal? It's the consumer. And whether that's retail or on premise, pretty much the same consumer. Again, unless it's like Le Bernardin, I wouldn't bring Margs out, but pretty much everywhere else I would. And also, the buyers and beverage directors and owners of retail, they're so busy. They want you to bring them multiple products. You know what I mean? Like they don't want you to have one thing to say. Like they want to see more. They're giving you 20 minutes, like fill it up. Like they really do. They want to see more. And a lot of people don't understand that, but it's true.
So going back to working at Empire Merchant, so 15 years of your life.
Yeah, crazy, right?
We've talked about a few of the takeaways. Is there one thing that you just can wake up every day and like, I learned this and took this from there?
Yeah, I think like, reading the customer, knowing like their wants, like it's just invaluable because like, I'm coming to the table and I pretty much know how you think. Like you may not know I know that, but I do. And then even in the design work, like it all comes together. Like, even like this grip, like, I'm thinking of that bartender, like even on this part, like it's got to rip off easy. I don't want, I've seen people struggle, you know what I mean? They don't want that. A lot of times, like you see a beautiful bottle and they cheap out on the cap. I hate that. I wouldn't do it. All those things, more like what I don't like, you know what I mean? It's really, and then you do your own version of it. Cost per ounce, I learned, I know that like this bottle's $30 wholesale, that's about $1 per ounce. And I know, beverage buyers, owners and stuff that, it's about $1.50 to make a proper cocktail. They're charging what, $18, $20 now these days. But, anything more than that, you're kind of out of that range, and you see a lot of people at, $50, $60 products trying to go with the cocktail. Not going to work. Simply not going to work. It's just math.
I feel like you took everything you learned from that and just set it on fire. You're just like, let's take all this knowledge of 15 years.
But it wasn't like on purpose. It just kind of like the stuff that stuck. And the stuff, and again, a lot of the stuff was just stuff like I don't like, you know what I mean? And how I would do it differently if it was mine.
Now, outside of work, how do you find time? I know you are big on summer, big on going back to Italy. How do you spend your downtime?
It's tough. I don't get a lot, but I think it's quality over quantity. Like definitely workaholic, definitely put my hours in. But, I think I'm all about systems and processes and balance. Like, like I'm going to the gym no matter what at 7, you know what I mean? Like that I need. And also like everything kind of ties together. Like without that hour of Joey time, like I wouldn't be able to kind of clear my head, get to where I need to be like mentally to attack the day. But then also like, going out to dinner 5 nights a week, not the best thing in the world for you, and it's like kind of all goes back to like, that's another reason it's super important for me to get my hour in, like, eating restaurant food 5 days a week and drinking, I mean, it's not the greatest things. It's all about balance,
And when you go to the gym, how do you sort of shut off those first messages that
it's tough. The first a lot of discipline, and I'm not great at it.
Yeah. Because I'm on my phone, like I wake up and I'm trying to shake it, but like I'm on my phone trying to put out the first fire of the morning.
I know. It's really tough. When I go to the gym, again, that's also my music too, so I can't, but I just try to, I think the time I go helps a little bit. Most people aren't like ready to attack yet. By the time I'm out, I mean, it's like, you're going to 100, but I do my best to not get distracted because you get a text or an email within 10, 15 minutes, you're in that rabbit hole and it's over, man. Yeah.
And what about, so life at home? Like, have you got a partner at home?
Yep.
And so how do you, tell us, what's the secret of maintaining?
Balance, thankfully she travels a ton as well. So it's there's a ton of travel, together. I guess allocating time on a weekend, I guess allocating time when you have time is kind of planning. But again, quality over quantity. Even like, for my daughter, like, I wasn't that guy that was home every day at 5 p.m. I just wasn't. But, our quality time is our quality time. So I think but then even looking back at it, like, say I was, and she's in a room, Snapchat, iPhone, and like, door shut, like, that's not quality anyway, even though I'm, downstairs. So it's really, I think just making it count and making it important.
And planning it?
Planning it to the best you can, Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Like we now she's much older, but we go to the gym my daughter and I every single Sunday. We have like our Sunday fun day. We go to the gym and we get something to eat after, and it's just like our jam, Yeah.
And just again, like trying to be laser focused on that time without letting the fires distract you.
Yeah. Oh, it's a work in progress. I'm not great at it, but it's like it's something I try to do better.
I don't know if it comes back to this, but what are a couple of your biggest achievements that you feel?
Biggest achievements?
Yeah.
I think from my first product, positioning it into a place for sale right off the bat. Again, like, I was an executive at a distributor on a Friday and the CEO of my own company on that Monday.
Right. I didn't know they overlapped. Right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was no time off. And I basically taught myself that business. Yeah, I was on the distributor side, but certainly not own your own product. And I didn't have a team, so it's really, you just have to figure it out, which is the best thing that could have happened because I didn't have anybody to really lean on or really ask those questions. People in the trade that I trust and stuff give me advice, but at the end of the day, it's your own shit and you got to figure it out.
Is there another version of, whether it's family or whether it's anything, is there something a North Star that you see of success?
Even like with Mars, like, I mean, it's going on year 4. I mean, I've seen so many brands kind of come and go, and it's like, bigger brands. I won't mention any names, but like, majors. And we're still going this way. We're still going up, every single day. So I think longevity is one. I think just being a good person is probably top of the list. If I had to pick one thing, I kind of hang my hat on that.
Yeah,
nice. At the end, you know what I mean? It's like I just think it means everything. Like and I think that's your anchor.
So now I didn't give you these in advance, but we've got rapid fire questions.
Yeah. Go for it.
So we'll fly through these as quick as we can. What's one thing you regret spending money on?
I bought a pretty crazy watch that I thought the value would go up, and it went the other way.
Okay, perfect. What dish do you cook best?
Oh man, I love to cook.
Yeah,
that actually relaxes the shit out of me. I don't get to do it a lot, but I've been making homemade pizza for like 30 years.
Perfecting
my grandmother's recipe, my father's, perfect. But it's like a real living thing. It's like wine, you know what I mean? Like it will come out different every single time with the yeast and the flour. I mean, it's alive. And I think just perfecting that. But yeah, I love it.
What's your go-to ingredients?
Well, I keep it really, again, everything I do, I simplify, right? So just beautiful San Marzano tomatoes, fresh mozzarella from Arthur Avenue, maybe a couple tears of basil, drizzle olive oil, sea salt, done. I'm not a big toppings kind of guy. Although I do like a good clam.
Okay.
And I make a great clam.
Do you?
Yep.
Man, because I'm vegetarian, so anything that just sounds perfect to me. Now, what's your guilty pleasure?
Man, I guess like laying in the sun. I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's kind of zone out, music in. Like, I know it's not great for me, but give me a beach chair, ocean. I'm the happiest guy in the world.
Is there any time that you like feel like you're contradicting your productivity and like feel guilty?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
But I think that's what keeps me going. That's a good question. Yes. But I always think I'm not doing enough.
Yeah.
And which is crazy because if you looked at my schedule, you're like, this guy's a psychopath. But it's okay, I'd much rather have it that way.
Yeah.
You know, you always want to look up, never down, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing I struggle with too. Like if I am away, it's like hard to like make you feel like that you earned it.
Oh,
yeah.
Like,
that's
totally.
one thing. But again, it's like it's all work in progress.
Yeah, it's all work in progress.
All right.
That's the beauty of life though, right? You're always getting big, you're just working on shit.
100%.
Right?
All right. So next one. What word do you hate hearing?
No.
The second person to say that.
Yeah, hate it.
Yeah.
Hate it. Not an answer.
Do you get it a lot?
Not a lot, but I don't like it when I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or no, it's actually more of a phrase. I take that back. It is what it is. That's the laziest shit I've ever heard. Like, what does that even mean? It is what it, you know what I mean? Like, that's just like, just say you gave up and you don't care. Because that's what all I'm hearing. Like, it is what it is. Like, make that make sense to me. That drives me nuts.
Perfect. What's your favorite margarita?
A Tommy's margarita, which is just 2 ounces of tequila or mezcal, 1 ounce of fresh lime juice, and just a little salt around the rim. Clean.
What's your most hated thing in a margarita when you go out? And you
Sugar, like sweetness, like those gun triple sex and whatever that stuff is.
That dude at the bar, like, no.
Oh God, I can't.
Yeah.
I couldn't even get it down. That's a big reason why Margs was born, because it's like, I think we spoke briefly on it. Like, it was either you have these like tequila seltzers, if you will, which is certainly not. You have the malt stuff, which is certainly not, and then you got the sugar bombs.
Yeah,
that's really all there is. There's nothing like in the middle that's super drinkable and sessionable, and
Why do you think that was? Because it's hard. Because it's
yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do. I think the easy thing to do is put a ton of sugar in it or make it a nothing burger.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like with everything, the easiest thing to do is put it in a stock bottle.
Yeah.
It would cost a fraction and I could launch it tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's like, I think it's just lazy.
Yeah. What's one thing work-related that you'll never do again?
Like a corporate 9-to-5 office standard. I can't do it.
So no matter how bad it gets.
Yeah. Can't.
Worst case scenario.
Yeah.
If in a worst case scenario you had to go back to the ground, start from the ground up, what would you do?
Like an office setting?
No. In any, what would the setting be? Would it be working at a bar? If you had to start from ground zero,
my shit blew up and I had to figure it out. Thankfully, I'm in an amazing universe and like my friend group that are uber successful. So I'm sure I'd land in one of their universes.
Yep.
But it would probably be in somewhere in hospitality. I'm sure
You'd stay there?
I would have a home and yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, when you were younger, did you ever envision owning your own margarita brand?
No. I did want to own a chain of gyms though when I was younger.
Really?
Yeah.
I see that. Joey's gyms.
Yeah. I
did.
did. I wanted to have a chain of like fitness centers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, what do you wish you learned sooner?
That's a great question. I never wanted or even thought about being like an entrepreneur, and it kind of just happened. But I kind of wish it happened earlier.
Yeah.
Because I learned so much and like. But I'm grateful for my corporate years and stuff like that. I learned a ton there, and I think you need some degree of corporate just to like learn how offices operate and how you should act or not act and things you say, and like I think you need to learn those kind of things. But I would say learning to create my own companies earlier.
Yeah,
because it's just so fun. Like I wish I didn't do it in my like late 30s.
But do you also feel you chose the right time when you did do it?
I feel like it chose me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How so?
It's just like the calling was there, man. It's like it was time. Like I felt it in my bones. Like I had always wanted to do it, but I don't know, something like snapped that went off. That it's now. Yeah. It's got to be right now.
Last question.
Yeah.
Is 818 underrated, overrated, or appropriately rated?
Well, I don't hate it. The big tequila hardcore connoisseurs, they shit on it because there's a ton of vanilla and stuff like that. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, look who's behind it. I mean, it shouldn't be Fortaleza, what I mean? But I think it's fine. I think there's a lot worse tasting tequilas than that one. I don't mind it.
I'll take that as an answer.
Yeah.
I'll take it. All right. Now, I don't know if you wrote one, but usually we'll end this with you asking the audience a question.
What qualities does your audience like to see in an entrepreneur?
Got you.
That'd be my question.
Love it. Man, that's everything. Where can people find you?
My Instagram is at It's Joey Angelo, just my name. At SipMARGS is our Instagram handle, and SipMARGS.com for the website. Sukasa is at Casa Mezcal for the Instagram handle, and SukasaMezcal.com for the web.
Love it.
Yeah.
Man, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, brother.
No, thank you.
Good
Awesome.
stuff.